All right, guys, welcome back to Mud and Pop Thrift. My name is Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for my 6 kids. It is currently 8:15 Sunday p.m. Everybody's on their ways to the showers and the beds for a big work day, big day of school tomorrow. Levi has an orchestra concert tomorrow. Levi had a choir concert on Thursday. And then Friday, we had something going on after school. I don't remember what it was. And then Saturday, we had Judah ran the cross-country state tournament, the boys state race, the biggest one that he could have been in as a qualifier for that. He didn't do great. He had an asthma attack in the middle, and so he did shave time off of that course the last time he'd run it, but he finished after having an asthma attack, and he got to run, and it's fantastic. I was so proud of him. We have, let's look at it, 29 orders for $961.49, and I no longer am in eBay purgatory. I get payouts again because the state of Illinois graced me with a driver's license earlier than promised. And so now you'll start seeing some more. You've already seen a couple of thrifting and haul videos, or picking videos, I think is what they call them. Anyway, but this is a what sold. I think we already talked about this once. Renegade hat. But I put on it right after I finished recording. The guy who asked to cancel it, so it did sell again, and then I took an offer the first time and sold for full price this time, so it sold for $39, free shipping. What I'll do is cut a piece of cardboard approximately just a hair taller than this, and make a cone that goes around when I stick it in a box. And I don't mind folding these sides up, but you don't fold the other sides up. You can't do it like all the way down. And so I can do it in like a 12 by 14 by 8, something like a VCR box. Not that I have that sitting around, but that would be ideal. I'll figure something out. Felt cowboy hats, not always great. Comp them. What you want to see, and I thought this had, is a bunch of X's, because this says 100% wool, but if you get ones that say like 6 X's or 10 X's or whatever, then that might be like a beaver fur that really is worth quite a bit. Paid $4 for this at a garage sale. It's in pretty nice shape. These Homedic do really well. This one says P100, PA100. If they say like 100 and then something else, I want to say it's an H, because this has a heater option. This one doesn't have the heater, but the heated ones do even better. These sell within a week. Every time I ever find them, I buy them for a couple bucks. This one sold for $24. Free shipping. These have been around forever. I wouldn't have paid very much for them. I don't know where they came from. Needful Things and Dark Tower Gunslinger. The Dark Tower is a Bolo board game, but it's also a series by Stephen King. And so these are just a small lot of Stephen King soft covers, sold for $11 free shipping. Not really worth messing with, but no doubt I got those in some kind of a lot of books. I wouldn't have bought them individually. So this is a red cap, just a generic mechanic shirt. Rivian is the car company, and they make I think they only make one model of car. They make electric pickup trucks. And Rivian is in Bloomington. We have a viewer who comments all the time from Bloomington Joe. Rivian, every article of Rivian clothing. I bought a t-shirt from a guy on a lark, like, well, maybe that'll sell, and it sold really quick. And then I found that one, and it's took a while to sell, but it sold for $20 free shipping. I think I paid $5.99 for it, so not a tremendous amount of money. But then I found the North Face Rivian puffer jacket, and it sold for $75 in a week. So that's good. I mean, I'll continue to comp Rivian clothing as I find it. And obviously, if you find Rivian other stuff, like car parts, this is a bolo, kind of. It's a Craftsman wrench. It's an odd shape. I don't know what makes, why, like, that shape is very specific. And so this is for a particular application, I'm sure. 9/16 and 5/8 box end wrenches, because they're not the regular crescent end wrenches. And then sometimes it's worth talking. This is 12. I don't have to count it. I can just look at it and say that's 12 lobe. Wonder if it says starter and manifold obstruction wrenches. So this is for working on exhaust pipes, evidently. Well, a starter, like a car starter, I guess, getting up in there and turning in a manifold. Anyway. Oh yeah, it does say starter and manifold on it. So anyway, Craftsman wrenches, if they have the V on them, if they have a V on, like dash, V dash, or sometimes there's 2 lines and then the V is in there, they're older, made in the US, and collectible and usable. So if you find them reasonably inexpensive, I paid $4 for a grab bag of things. And it had this and one other thing in it. And I don't remember what the other thing was, but the other thing sold faster and for more money than I expected. But I bought the whole thing to get this, and this sold for $14 free shipping. So, I mean, it's not worth a whole bunch of money, but I knew that that would sell and suspected I'd make some money on other stuff. In a bag full of tools for $4 or $5. This logo is minor league baseball, M small I LB, not MLB. Minor league baseball clubs do really well, generally speaking. I think that this is, but I wasn't able to confirm, San Antonio Missions. And then this is the hat that they would have worn to the minor league all-star game. Minor league. And so this, like, they didn't know at Goodwill what this was, because it was just $1.99 like a regular hats. And I find Peoria Chiefs stuff a lot, but not like this high quality. So if you find minor league baseball hats, they're a little hard to identify because it's not like the Baltimore Orioles and everybody knows what their logo looks like. Or if you Google image this or put it on Facebook in a specific group for resellers, people don't know what it is. So it took a while for me to get a good guess of what it is. 4th of July, Independence Day All-Star Game, evidently. Anyway, that I paid $2 for that, and it sold for $38.40, and it only took like a week. This took forever, which surprises me a little bit. This is, I think this is Ben Cooper, Bart Simpson, 20th Century Fox, Ben Cooper, 1989. So that tag, 1989, Ben Cooper. Ben Cooper makes a lot of masks. This one's super flat, but like I'll put up some Ben Cooper masks. You're familiar. Actually, I think I have another. Well, no, I have a Collegeville, another one that's sold. That's the competitor to Ben Cooper. And this one, you find the masks sometimes. You don't find the suits very often. And so this is pretty cool. I paid too much for this. I think I paid $10 for it because it's super cool, and I was buying it from a picker who we thought we'd both make money on it. And while he probably did make a little bit of money, if I only paid $10, he didn't make much. And I sold it for $20 free shipping. I didn't make much, so I guess we both did make a little bit of money on it. But some of those Ben Cooper masks, some of those Collegeville masks, some of those characters can be worth quite a bit of money. No magnet on this. So this is a passive radiator and I think it's 12-inch passive radiator on the Klipsch speakers. So I literally only have one of these left, and I've already made, what did I put? $490, and then this just sold. Oh, well, that's dumb. Huh. I looked twice to see if it was both of them, and I couldn't tell that it was both of them. So it's actually both of them, sold for $88 for the pair of passive radiators. And I'm including the gasket that went around them and the screws that I took it out with. And so I think the only thing that I have left, and these will be a hard sale and I'll put them away and eventually they'll probably sell, are these little rubber, like this would go into this end would go into the wood, and then this end would receive the grill that goes on the front. And so that's all that we have left of the Klipsch speaker stuff, unless I decide to sell parts of the boxes, and the boxes are on a pedestal, so I might be able to remove those bottom pedestals. There are people who have those listed. I guess I might as well, because I could sell them really cheap, because I'm up over $500 buying them. Klipsch brand speakers. Killed it on those. And I know there are commenters who think I should have listed them for local pickup on eBay, or I should have posted on Facebook Marketplace. And maybe I should have, but getting a lot of listings into my store and getting a lot of things sold quickly in my store helps generate more sales as a whole, as I see it. Paid $1 for this old Russell tag. I think it has people who look for vintage crew necks like that little tag on the bottom. So Russell, if it has that tag on the bottom, is good. Fighting Illini is good. $23.20. I paid $1 for it. The first, like October 1st, or maybe September 31st, or whatever it would have been. It would have been right around that first weekend of October. I bought that for $1 at a yard sale. This one I got for free. They said it was 50 cents, and I went to dig in my pocket to give them 50 cents. And I had just bought a bunch of stuff. And she's like, forget about it. Just take it. And I'm like, you sure? Okay, whatever. It doesn't have a tag in it. And it maybe has where a tag was torn out of it. But I could not find another one like this exactly. And it doesn't have like a date. Like sometimes, most of the time, the date would be along the bottom of the print or up one of the sides, or like sometimes you'd see it like under the bird's wings, but there is no date that I see on this. But it is double stitch. It's definitely a 2XL. Rush, Fly By Night, classic album. I'm not a big Rush fan, but I get it. Sold for $17 plus shipping. And like I said, I've maybe had it 2 weeks. This paid $3 for a bunch of these. This is the last one to sell. Sold for $19.99 plus shipping. Washington Redskins, Hutch, not for contact play. Really, I mean, this was a toy in the 80s or early 90s, maybe even early 80s, with that chin guard, or that guard on the front of it. But now it's just going to sit on a shelf for somebody's man cave, no doubt. The beginning of this summer, we bought a bunch of Salad Master. And this was at the same garage sale, and I paid $5 for this. And it's like a keep your casseroles hot thing. So these are glass, and then there's a heater core underneath each of these 3 pieces of glass. And the comps were unbelievable on it at the time, but it took forever to sell, and it did eventually sell for $88 on whatever the markdown was, and maybe even an offer sent or an offer received. Buyers all in at 110. So that's definitely plus shipping. Cool piece. Not going to be terrible to ship because like it all comes apart and I can bubble wrap everything individually, and at $110 and I'm in it for $5, but I bought it as an afterthought of something I made $200 or $300 on. It's all profit. And kitchen stuff does really well for me all the time. Older kitchen appliances, stuff like this is gonna be more of a pain to ship than some other appliances, but it'll be fine. I mean, I paid $5, I'm making $100. I can do a little bit of work for that. Not gonna hurt my feelings a bit. This I bought, and I was really, really excited about it. Found it for, they had it marked up. It had a tag on it for like $4.99, $5.99, and I thought it would sell really fast. Levi wanted to keep it. Kirby is one. Levi has like 2 or 3 favorite Nintendo characters, but he's my Kirby guy for sure. And he has 2 or 3 Kirbys. This one is a Japanese exclusive. Kawaii. And it is pretty rare and sat around forever, but did eventually sell for $30. So that's a pretty good pickup for sure. Bought out a guy who was done eBaying, bought his store for $1 an item. This Lotus watch, Mickey Mouse, and his hands move, but I didn't replace the battery, and it sold for $13 free shipping. Cool vintage in the case. I've done better than that on some of these, but I wasn't trying to price this thing way up and hold it forever. I wanted to get that stuff turned around quick. Paid 50 cents a piece on these books at the St. Anthony's sale. I've never heard of Nelson DeMille as an author, but there were 9 books from him that were all different. This one is obviously not in great shape, but it's pictured as such. So that sale was like maybe a month ago, and I got the stuff listed pretty quickly. If there's 9, then I'm $4.50 in, and they sold for $13.20 plus shipping. Buyers all in at $19. So that's a pretty good sale. I will, if I say show myself, and since I'm the only one here, I guess I'm the one saying it. This is kind of interesting and keeps happening. My neighbor lives right there on the other side of the wall that's right here. Bunch of stuff. And from time to time, things make their way out to the street the day before trash day or 2 days before trash day. And I go look at it every time. And there was a big, like, pesticide, strap it to the back of your four-wheeler tank. And it had this motor on it. And I comped the motor, and it was selling for like $240 new or $100 used, and I got it for free, and it sold for $39.20. I've had it listed for probably 2 or 3 months, and I was determined to just take whatever came for it. And that's what we did. So I listed it. I don't remember what I listed it for. I listed it for half of what the other actives were. And it took that long to sell because that's not something that sells every day. Cuisinart. I bought this just like this. I took it out of this box. I took pictures of it. I put it back in this box. Cuisinart. I always do really well with their food processors. I was going to take it out and show you, but here's a picture. Here's some pictures. I paid $6, and it was one of those times where I had a little bit of cash in my pocket, but I hadn't got my driver's license yet, so I hadn't gotten a payout, and I was like, I really need to be stingy on what I'm buying. I got to buy stuff that is high margin and going to sell quick, even though like it didn't actually matter because it's not like I'm going to get the money quicker. But I didn't want to be buying things that were mediocre with money that I really didn't have to be spending. Glad to be out of that situation. That Cuisinart, I comp every Cuisinart food processor. That one I paid 6, maybe $6.99, so 7. Sold for $48, free shipping right away. Pretty awesome. I found a bag in the death pile. I don't know if it's a conglomeration of stuff. I don't know where it came from, but it had like military buttons and hat pins from the Olympics and this. I'm a Catholic, call a priest, like necklace pendant, rosary pendant, something where if you need last rites, you want to make sure and get last rites read from a priest in case of an emergency. This is right there. Levi and I were looking at these, and we were able to determine that this marking you can just barely even see on there says sterling. And so this is sterling silver. And then we started looking them up, and it's like, it's not even as much as a quarter worth, like the coin a quarter. It's not that heavy. So it's not worth a lot as sterling silver, but it is worth something as a charm also. Sold for $12, free shipping. But I mean, that couldn't be easier to deal with. The crossovers, I messed this up because these were the first things I pulled out of that and everything. And so I pulled them out and I was like, oh, I can't get the other end of this wire. These are soldered on and I'm not getting them loose from the other side. So maybe they're soldered onto the other side, and I clipped the wires. And then when I took the first speaker out, they're only soldered on these. So I messed these up. These would have been worth probably $50 or $65 a piece. I ended up accepting an offer for $54 for both of them. But I'm making money hand over fist on these things. This is ridiculous. These are so high quality of speakers that these crossovers are hand wound and signed by the technician who hand wound them in 1984. That one says Edessa, and this one just says TC. But those are hand wound and assumably. So you can see this one. This is when I figured it out. They should have had this end on them, but I got impatient and snipped the ends off. And that really hurts the value. Now, somebody who's reasonably proficient can either splice back on. That's probably what I would do, is I would probably splice this wire and get some heat shrink and just fix a new wire on there rather than trying to unsolder and resolder on that. But even that wouldn't be hard. I just don't like to solder. So anyway, those are very fixable, but I screwed them up. They'd have probably been worth $50 more if I hadn't screwed them up, but they sold for $54. This shirt I screwed up as well. For whatever reason, the listing says that this shirt is purple with black buttons in the title. And so I messaged the guy and said, hey, I don't know what I was thinking, putting this as purple with black buttons. No wonder it took forever to sell. It's white horse, purple with black buttons. No, it's a black shirt with white buttons, pearl snap. Probably this I paid $3 for this like 2 years ago. And I took an $11 offer, or sent an $11 offer. And then I messaged the guy. I said, hey, the description says purple with white button or with black buttons. If you want what is pictured, that's what I'm selling. Sorry for the confusion. And he wrote me back and he's like, yeah, no, the black shirt is perfect. That's what I was assuming, but thanks for clarifying. And I'll get that sent off. Paid $1 for this a long time ago. I would have thought that it would have done better. Older, Delta Pro, size medium, says, son, I need you to build a bridge. Here are all the tools that you'll need. See you soon. Love, Dad. Read 1 Timothy 2, 3 through 6, 2003. Caruso. If you see Caruso on there, Caruso makes a lot of Christian t-shirts, especially in that era. And they're kind of collectible. There's a, like, you know, if I say concert tees, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They need to have concert dates on the back. If I say anime tees, they're vintage t-shirts with Japanese cartoons on them. This is a Jesus tee. The like keyword, if you were looking for specific, if you were just searching for this genre, these in the collector market are called Jesus tees. And that's a cool one. And I figured it would do fairly well. And it's been listed forever, so I was wrong. It sold for $8 plus shipping, buyers all in at $15. It also had stains, and it's as a medium. It's listed as a medium, but it measures as small, and so it's little, and that hurt it some. If that was a 2X or a 3X, it would have done way better. Picked this up with all of the Cardinals shirts and jackets and all those cassette tapes. This was in the pile. It is Lanissa. That I find these from time to time, and I think of this way as a Christmas ornament. This is a tree topper. So it sits on the top of your Christmas tree and acts like the star. It was sold at Venture for 88 cents at some point, and it was made in Germany. And this one isn't like in remarkably beautiful shape. It does have the original box, even though the box isn't great. And it sold for $22.40. But this time of year, as Christmas stuff starts to roll out, Lanissa toppers, I've never not made money buying a Lanissa topper. And I might be mispronouncing that. It's a German company. WTF can tell me if I'm mispronouncing it. Cool piece. Made in West Germany. Pretty old. Made in the USA. Kind of an unmarked vest. Leather vest. And the top button is pulled out. I want to say I got this last year at Spoon River Drive, so I've had it a little over a year, but I don't know if I can make you see it. Like, it has pinholes, and I don't think I noticed it until I got home. Like, where it had, this was somebody's vest colors. They had their vest, like, all of their patches on there, and then they got pulled off. And so the big bottom patch, and then all the colors on the front. And so this used to be somebody's club riding vest, but it got stripped of patches, and it has these little dangles on it. And I took a chance on it because it was made in the US and it was definitely vintage. And I don't know what I paid for it, but it did eventually sell for $12 plus shipping, which is feels like giving it away. But after it's been sitting for a year and I don't even know what I've got into it, why not just take some amount of money rather than sitting with it and my pride? That would be silly. This is called a frame drum, and it is a hand drum. If you don't know, I am quite a proficient hand drum player. I love playing hand drums. I cut my musical teeth on hand drums. I love playing djembes and dombecs and congas and bongos. And I have all of that stuff over there. Actually, I don't have congas anymore. I sold them to a missionary who was taking them overseas and couldn't get any somewhere before he listed them, or before he was leaving. And so I sold them to a missionary to take with him on mission, which, like, it seems like a weird thing to be desperate for, to take on mission. And I don't know, desperate's the wrong term. But he wanted some congas, and I sold him my congas, and I never replaced them. But I love playing hand drums. I thought about keeping this, but it's so small, and I don't exactly know how you would, like, do much with it. Yeah, it's a really odd thing. I think you're supposed to play it like, I think it's more like a Native American kind of a thing. Anyway, it's a cool piece. Remo, made in the US. I paid $2 for it. I thought about keeping it, but I just know one of my kids is going to put their fist through it, or it's just going to sit out here with the rest of my drums and never get used. So I listed it. Sold for $22 free shipping. With the Cardinals jackets, I got this bush light embroidery on the front. made in the US, unsized. Called it a, I think I called it a large. I guess it doesn't. It just has measurements. But it does have on the collar, like it's coming apart a little bit. This came from the same places I got all those Cardinals jackets. It's a really neat piece. Sold for $30 even, free shipping. Me and Judah went over with great detail this shark shirt, and it's just a long sleeve. I put it in this box, and this box wasn't clean enough at the bottom to set stuff in. 3XL shark shirt, long sleeve. Paid $1 at that sale a couple weeks ago where I got all the incredible crazy shirts. That one sold for $26, free shipping. Paid $1. And that would be part of the nature tees. So anything that's got animals or landscapes is considered nature tee, unless it's an art tee. If it's like Bob Ross kind of, some like landscape, maybe it could be an art tee. But art tees are generally more like depictions of works of art rather than themselves being works of art. Anyway, that is a nature tee. And nature tees do really, really well if you can find cool looking older ones. And it's not like you're looking for IPs, Space Jam or something. And in that same vein, there's like Native American culture kind of stuff that does well with wolves and dream catchers and warriors, like holding staffs and riding horses and that kind of stuff. That's a whole genre unto itself. But so we have Jesus tees and we have nature tees that are subsets of vintage t-shirts that are worth digging into if you're looking for vintage t-shirts and you're not finding cartoons and sports teams, which are kind of, and bands, which are kind of your top tier stuff. Collegeville is a mask company, pajama costumes, rival of Ben Cooper. Very cool stuff. This is more indicative of what the Ben Cooper stuff is, not really super flat, but press molded. And this one's pretty darn fragile. It is the Road Runner. Has the box, and the cellophane is clear, and the box is in pretty nice shape. The Road Runner. I like that it says beep beep above where it says Road Runner. With the mask, fits years 6 to 8 years old. The pajama part is just in abysmal condition. It's there, but it's super dirty, and I don't think you could clean it. It's just kind of storage mildew that then died, and I don't know that this fabric I would trust to try to clean. Maybe you could have it dry cleaned, but it is a cool piece anyway. 7 Arts, Warner Brothers. It doesn't have a date on it. I would say it's probably mid-70s, maybe as new as 1980. Warner Brothers, 45 inches tall, and nothing about it says a date. But this is a 70s box, maybe even late 60s. But my suspicion is that it is mid-70s. But the world may never know. I guess you could look up Collegeville and see what year they released this thing, and it ain't worth all of that. Another one I bought from the same picker that I got the Bart Simpson one from. And this one sold for $23.99 plus shipping. So I'm all in a buyer's all in at $38. So that's a pretty cool piece. Somebody to give me. It sold at Fred Meyer, which is now owned by Kroger, and I think exclusively in the Northwest. The only Fred Meyer I've ever been to was in Fairbanks, Alaska. $1.99 Fred Meyer at some point. But if you're collecting these things, that's a really nice display for Road Runner. I've had it a long time. I don't know what I paid for it, but probably $10 or $15. I paid $10 for this Carhartt. This is kind of the quintessential Carhartt, and it was at an overpriced garage sale, and I just kept looking, determined I was going to find something, and I found 2 sandwich bags full of G.I. Joe guns for $1 a piece, and I found this for $10. And so this is kind of like the one to be looking for. It's just like the classic looking work jacket. It has a model number JT something, JR116, and this is a medium tall even. And I had it for $80, which I knew was overpricing it. That's something I've been doing recently, is overpricing and then immediately, like, you can't do it the second you list it. So you got to wait like an hour, and then running a sale for like, I'll intentionally price it where I put it 25% off. So 25% of 80 is 20. And so then it's $60. And then I went back and forth with the buyer. Anyway, we got to the point where it was 40, where I was at $49.99, and he came back again, and I said, I've got to be $50, take it or leave it. And he took it, and he paid right away. I figured he would take it and then not pay. But that's not what happened. Somehow he skipped these cassettes along the way. They should have been with the, should have been between the tree topper and the leather vest. Chicago, America. Chicago, the band. Another one of those 70s arena rock bands that I should know more about, but I don't. I put them like Foreigner, Boston, and Chicago. And this is these 3. I buy cassettes, generally speaking, when they are in massive bulk and almost exclusively like rock, or, you know, you do really well with heavy metal, you do really well with rap, but they're hard to find, and that's why you do really well with them. But like this kind of classic rock is pretty easy to find and doesn't sell for a ton, but if you can buy them for 10, 15 cents a quarter a piece and get them in lots, then you can sell them in lots for $13 free shipping. And while you're not making a ton of money, when you've got 25 lots and you make $5 a piece on them, it's pretty easy to make it worth your time. And those sold for $13. And that is all of it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks for following and clicking the bell. We'll see you on the next one.